Hey guys, today's video I'm going to be telling you guys what my favorite and least favorite Skylanders of each element are. This video was suggested to me by Architect Dominguez. Again, hopefully I'm saying that right. This list is going to be similar to my top 10 favorite Skylanders, as a lot of the Skylanders on that list are going to find themselves here. So for those Skylanders, I'm not going to be going too much in depth, and I'm going to really be keeping it to just a few seconds of explanation. And if you wanted to check out my reasoning for them, just go check out that video. I'll put it in the top right now. So yeah, if you're really curious as to what my reasoning is for why I put them in one of my favorites, that's why. Without further ado, let's get into the list. Okay, so getting started. My least favorite Skylander of the air element is going to be Jedvak. So, let me just say I'm not including supercharged versions of the Skylanders because I feel like is kind of unfair because it's just a changed version of the original. Even though the Skylanders themselves are different, I don't know. I just didn't feel like including them. But this is just the original Jedvak version. And this is one of the hardest to pick for my least favorite, but I picked Jedvak because I feel like a lot of his attacks are just boring. He has the kind of vacuum and the air shoot out and like a little jetpack attack. But honestly, I wish that there was an attack that really stood him out, and for that reason, he's my least favorite of the air element. My favorite of the air element is going to be Pop Thorne. So this is a Skylander that just barely missed out on my top 10 favorite. But like I said before, Pop Thorne was really powerful Skylander. He has his like kind of pin missiles attack, which can attack multiple at a time. And overall, like his design is just really cool. I like him being like an air pufferfish. Kind of like I feel like he's like Wrecking Ball done well. And I like that he has like two forms too. Like he has like the puffed up form and like the kind of shrunken down form. Like that is also a really cool addition. So yeah. That is my least favorite and favorite of the air elements. Also, it's worth noting, I'm down the shore for this video in particular. So, if any of the audio is off, I just apologize for that right off the bat. And also, the gameplay. I wasn't able to record a lot of gameplay for especially the least favorite Skylander, so I'm just going to be including old gameplay that I already have. So sorry for that. It doesn't really matter too much, but for some of the favorites, specifically the ones that were on my top 10, I will include gameplay for those. But yeah, so I apologize for that. But let's get into the water element. My least favorite of the water element is Punk Shock. Punk Shock is just a really bland Skylander, honestly. I didn't know until I came back into Skylanders in 2020 that Punk Shock was even a Skylander. Like, I didn't even realize that Punk Shock existed. But she does, and honestly, I feel like she's just like a water shock attack Skylander, not done as well as they could have. I feel that there are Skylanders that have done it better, such as Zap, for example. And yeah, Punk Shock is just not that powerful in my opinion, and really just not memorable at all. For that reason, Punk Shock's my least favorite. My favorite of the water element is going to be Wham Shell. I've already explained this in my top 10 favorite. The nostalgia factor of Wham Shell is a big driving factor. His attacks are really decent, and his design is really cool. So for the Earth element, my least favorite Skylander is going to be Slobbertooth. Slobbertooth is a Skylander that I don't really use all too often, especially during Swap Force playthroughs, because he lacks originality. He seems like Bash, but he's not Bash. He's Bash with worse attacks, in my opinion. And they also named a villain in Trap Team like Slobber Trap. And honestly, I like Slobber Trap more than I like Slobbertooth. His Iron Jaw aspect of him is good, but other than that, I couldn't even name you any of the attacks. I think he has something with his tail, but I'm not even sure. My favorite for the Earth element is going to be Rocky Roll. Again, this is on my top 10 favorite list, and I think that his attacks are a huge factor, and also his design are reasons why he's my favorite of the Earth element. For the life element, my least favorite Skylander is Tough Luck, and this is by far the hardest that I had to choose. Because honestly, the life element doesn't really have a lot of Skylanders that I don't like. It's just a lot of Skylanders that I feel very middle of the road about. But Tough Luck is my least favorite of the life element. Uh, I feel that her Trap Master weapons are probably the least memorable as to even what they are. I'm not even sure what they are, but they're cool, kind of. And then she has a lot of attacks just centering around them, which is a big reason why I don't like her all too much. But yeah, so yeah, that's why Tough Luck is my least favorite of the life element. And my favorite of the life element is going to be Zook. Again, it was on my top 10 favorite list, so I go more in depth there about Zook. But he was from the first game, and his attacks are just really useful. They're one of my favorite attack set that I can use, like that I could click A and then click B, and I won't just be spamming A the whole time while I'm using him. So that's why Zook is my favorite. For the tech element, my least favorite Skylander is Neocortex. First of all, a lot of people are questioning why he's a sorcerer. I'm not going to get in depth about that because although I agree with them, I'm not going to ring the bell to death, and that has nothing to do with his the battle classes had nothing, or at least very little, to do with their actual attacks. Anyway, Neocortex, his attacks are just not very powerful to me, and I also just don't like Neocortex in general, even from the Crash series. I just think that he's just a bad character. So yeah, that's why he's my least favorite. My favorite from the tech element is Robo. I already talked about Robo in my top 10 favorites list, and I know I keep saying that, but I'm just going to remind you guys as to why I'm not giving too many reasons here. I think that Robo is just a really powerful Skylander, and I love his attacks, and yeah, his design is also really cool, being the whole Robin Hood thing. So yeah, that's why he's my favorite. So for the undead element, my least favorite Skylander is Batspin, and I really hate putting Batspin in here because originally Batspin was my least favorite Skylander ever, and then I actually got to see Batspin's attacks and stuff after I got her, and I realized that she actually has a really cool moveset. Despite me hating her design and hating her name, I feel like Batspin is just the most unoriginal name of any Skylander, and I still stand by that, but at least Batspin's had a big upturn in my opinions on her. But regardless, Batspin still finds herself in the least favorite of the undead element, just because I feel like the undead element is a really strong element for Skylanders. And my favorite Skylander of the undead element is one that's probably going to shock many people. It's Fright Rider. Again, I thought about putting Chop Chop and Crypt King in this spot, but honestly, Fright Rider just kind of stole the spot because he's just that unique. His attacks are really underrated. He's just an overall really overhated Skylander, and that's why he's one of my favorites, especially in the undead element. He is my favorite. Now on to the fire element, and Torch is going to be my least favorite from the fire element. I just feel like her attacks are just not that great, and she is very forgettable in my opinion. She was one of the Wave 1 core Skylanders of Trap Team, and that is a big plus for her, although nowadays I don't remember her at all. Anyway, Flarewolf is going to be my favorite Skylander of the undead element. Or not, excuse me, the fire element. No, I did not mean to say undead there. Flarewolf is really cool. He has some awesome rocket attacks, and I like how he rides the rocket. That's really cool. And so yeah, Flarewolf is gonna be my favorite Skylander. I like his whole firework thing. His design is cool. I've always wanted him, and now that I have him, he's just really cool. So yeah, that's why he's my favorite. And my least favorite of the magic element is going to be Deja Vu. Deja Vu had a lot going for her when they thought of her, at least. I feel like the execution on Deja Vu was awful. Her attacks are not great. But the thought in Deja Vu was really cool, and I really respect the at least the thought and the effort put into her, although her final product was not that great, in my opinion. And my favorite Skylander ever but just so happens to be part of the magic element, is going to be Cobra Kadabra. Uh, I've already talked about Cobra Kadabra for at least 3 or 4 minutes, so I'm just going to completely direct you towards my top 10 favorite for that one. Really cool design, really cool attacks. That's all I gotta say, because if you really want my opinion on Cobra Kadabra, just go to my top 10 favorite video. And I don't mean to keep plugging that video, I'm not trying to plug it, I'm just telling you. I don't want to be repetitive here to those who have already watched that video. And if you haven't, you might as well just go watch it. It's not too long, and it's a well-made video. So okay, and on to the Dark Element. So my least favorite Skylander from the Dark Element is going to be Nightfall. Nightfall is the only Skylander from the Dark Element introduced in Superchargers, and I also feel is the weakest Dark Skylander. And I just feel like Nightfall's not that strong. I don't have a lot of incentive to usually use Nightfall, especially because I feel like Nightfall's forgettable. One of the coolest looking, but I don't know. I just really am not too big of a fan of Nightfall. And my favorite element from the Skylander from the Dark Element is going to be Starcast. Starcast has an insanely cool design, and I really just think that he's cool to use. Even though he's not that powerful, he can hold his own, and I think he has like a really cool thing with his ninja stars. He can like ride one of them. Like I just think that that's really cool, and Starcast is definitely my favorite Skylander of the Dark Element. And for the light element, my least favorite Skylander is going to be Astro Blast, also from Superchargers, the only one from the light element introduced. And Astro Blast is also just not a bad Skylander. He just found himself in here. Like I say, for the dark and light elements, there's really just not a lot of competition, because there's only 5 Skylanders of each element. And so yeah, Astro Blast finds himself here. He's not that powerful, although I have given him a second chance, and I found that he is better than I originally thought he was when it comes to his power. His design is cool, although I don't really get it, but he's just supposed to be like a star, a spaceman kind of, so yeah. And anyway, my favorite Skylander of the light element is going to be Spotlight. So Spotlight is really, really cool once you've played a Spotlight. And I know not a lot of you guys have played a Spotlight, because she's very rare, and I know I apologize for that one, but she is a very rare Skylander. But Spotlight has really cool attacks with her rings, and like using the rings like to kind of almost set up a shield for yourself, and her laser beam primary attack is really not powerful until you start using it with the rings, and then really does become powerful. So yeah, Spotlight is going to be my favorite from the light element. And thank you guys again for watching this video. We still got 2 fan requested videos left for the month, and 2 videos left for the month, and they are 2 very requested videos, so I can't wait to get working on them. I'll see you guys in the next video, and like I said, sorry for any mic troubles or any audio troubles you have been having with this video. If I do have any, I don't know if there are any or not, but I'm just telling you that right now. If there are any, I really do apologize, but I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.